Men feel so entitled to your time that they will get mad at you for minding your own business. Am I the only one that saw that video of that one guy? And he was basically like, I was out on a walk and this girl had her AirPods in, like, human interaction is dead. Did you ever consider she just didn't want to talk with you? Just didn't want to speak with you? Like, literally, why are you getting mad that someone is minding their own business? Like, hello? And it's just funny to me because this happens in, like, basically every setting. Like, I've had men ask me out, and, like, when I say no, they ask why. Because I don't want to, you don't deserve my time. I don't want to be around you. Why would anyone want to be around you? Anyways, bye.
Hi ladies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to this channel, my name is Miss Cafe. So ladies, in this video, we're talking about the entitlement of these creatures. I won't even say their name anymore because hearing their name alone offends a lot of you. It has come to that point. So the entitlement of these creatures is astounding. It's astounding. And if you're a mother raising sons, please teach them how to accept no and to accept rejection, because that is the problem you're having with these men nowadays. And these men were raised with women like us. So raise your sons right. Teach them to be contented with whatever answer they get. So ladies, I won't talk too much. This video is one you needed. That's all I'll say. It's one you needed. And after watching this video, you'll see why I'm saying this. So let's jump right into this video, and then I'll be back to give my take on it.
If you need proof of the way in which men have been socialized to believe their feelings are facts, to treat their feelings as facts, to operate on the basis that their feelings constitute facts, because patriarchy has inculcated them, not only to this belief, but to an assertion of its entitlement, to an assertion of their entitlement to it. In other words, it's not just that they believe their feelings are facts, and if they were confronted with, like, the reality that their feelings are not facts, oh, they would be like, oh, sorry, my bad. It's that they understand themselves to be entitled to enforce their feelings upon the world as if they are facts. It's not a lack of understanding, it's a level of entitlement. And it's not surprise, it's resentment that they feel. If you need, like, any evidence of the fact that men treat their feelings as facts, you need look no further than, like, any woman's comment section where a man just says something like, I don't know, this feels wrong to me.
And this is why it's so important to have high standards. Romance is a game to a lot of men. So this guy says, oh, asking for her ring size, her clan names, and being extra romantic every 3 months or so, just so I can continue using her car and living in her apartment. And this is a response to the first guy saying, men have mastered the art of breadcrumbing. Good treatment needs to be consistent. There shouldn't be ups and downs. The things I've noticed about the women around me who have enviable relationships where I know the man has always treated them well and they've been either married for decades or there are young people who are just starting out dating, the guy is consistent. He started out treating them very well and he has always treated them well. The only change has been maybe the treatment gets even better. But when a man is hot and cold, it's a sign he doesn't want you. The romance is a put on because he wants something out of you, whether that's your body or your financial resources. And this is why I'm always telling you all to leave at the first red flag. And it's not that people are confused because they know what I mean, but women always give me excuses to not follow through. Oh, well, aren't you supposed to work through things in life? Well, if I have problems with this person, won't I just have problems with the next person? First of all, there's a difference between the problems of life, that we all are going to experience. Death in the family, job loss, sickness, acts of God, like, weather patterns or floods or hurricanes. There's a difference between those kinds of things and the inflicted suffering of your partner, him cheating or having an outside baby, talking to other girls, following them on Instagram, him being a broke bum and leeching off of you. Those were not unavoidable. Those indicate that he has bad character and doesn't care about you. Of course, you're going to help your partner through a grief or through a loss or, whatever other issue. You are going to work together through those tough times. But why would you be working together through pain he intentionally chose to inflict on you? That's stupid. And the second thing when it comes to that argument of, oh, don't all men have problems? You shouldn't just leave at the first red flag because you're going to be running from problem to problem. Let's say you are. Your life is better off. You know, you are getting good treatment and nothing but from every man you come into contact with because you're leaving at the first red flag. But it's not true at all. You're never going to find a man who consistently treats you well until you cut off the ones who don't. And do you really want the relationships of the women who stay through the pain, work through the problems? Oh my God, God restored my marriage. You want that? The only reason to stay through abuse and mistreatment is the belief that there's nothing better out there. So if you do not believe that all men are abusive, if you do not believe that all men cheat, you shouldn't hang out with men who do. What's the point of staying and hanging around if you believe that there are good men out there? Like, people can't have it both ways with the argument. Either their argument is that all men are bad, in which case you would be right to decenter men completely and never date again. But if their argument is not all men, well, if not all men are bad, then why shouldn't you be holding out for a good one? It just doesn't work. Their logic is flawed because they want you to ignore what makes sense in favor of what's going to serve the vast majority of the men who want you to settle. And of course, the pick-me's who have settled want you to believe that there's nothing better than the horrible marriage that they have, because otherwise, why would you be jealous of their prize? They've won, don't you know? They're a good woman and they got a good man. He's a good man, Savannah. He only has 1 or 2 outside children. He only cheats on her once a year. He's a good man. But if you want an actually good man who is continuously faithful and always treats you well, do not stay with men who weaponize the ideas of romance and commitment. And you can tell the men who do that because they only bring it up when you have a problem in your relationship. You catch him doing something, or you have a big fight and it's all of a sudden, oh, I can see us getting married. I can see our future together. Don't throw us away. I was just about to propose. I was just about to buy you a ring. It's always when you're walking out the door, they were just about to do blah, blah, blah. Don't be a sucker. That's it. Like and follow for more.
Why do men feel entitled to touch you? The audacity of thinking that they can just touch you. Okay, so my last notary of the day, I'm there, whatever, and we're going through, I'm looking at the documents with him, so I'm like showing him, obviously I'm standing next to him. Why did he proceed to put his hand on my lower back? Okay, so then I nicely was like, sir, please don't touch me. Okay, and I could tell he kind of got like a little attitude, like almost like, well, what? Like, you know, I'm like, okay. So then we proceed, we're still going. Then he touches my upper back. That's whenever I stopped being nice. And I told him, I said, sir, don't fucking touch me again. Like, I'm not going to repeat myself. So then he really has an attitude and he's ready to argue back and forth with me. He's going to leave me a bad review, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I don't care nothing about that. Because why do you feel entitled to touch me? And then I know people are going to be like, well, I mean, it was just your back. It was just it. What? My lower back? My lower back. If he would have put his pinky down, he would have been touching my ass. So it's like, no, that's not okay. That's not okay. And it's ridiculous that women even have to explain to not fucking touch me. Like, no.
It's why some men feel the need to say such mean, hurtful, and cruel things to women that they are not attracted to.
This is a sign of supremacism that stems from male privilege. Most men grew up in a household where women were servicing men. They saw their grandmothers, mothers, aunts all servicing men. They saw their sisters being treated differently, with less privilege in the household being expected to meet the needs of men and everybody else putting themselves last. This expectation of how they view women gets set, and they take it out into the real world too. They expect female peers to service them, even as nice guys, whether those female peers are listening to their problems, holding emotional space, helping them do their homework, all of that free labor. They're also very much used to how women have the oppressed prey mindset, and the women in their household, as well as those female peers, will oftentimes center them and put them on a pedestal, self-sacrificing, self-sabotaging to make the lives of these men easier. So when they carry that experience, they go out into the world, they have a sense of importance to the point that they view women as objects and resources that service them. This is the exact definition of how a supremacist views another person as a subhuman. That's the relationship that most men have with women to some degree. We don't even need to go into how this plays out in corporate culture. Most women have experienced it. Women say they haven't experienced it. It's like a POC who says they've never experienced racism. They're so traumatized by supremacism and the subjugated role that they've been playing that they don't even notice there's anything wrong with it. So why do men get upset at women who do not meet the patriarchal beauty standard? Because she's not servicing him visually, even with just her presence, as a total stranger. If her existence does not center his taste, he takes that as like a glitch in his vision, and that woman has done him wrong. In addition, if a woman does not work hard to meet the patriarchal beauty standards, that's offensive to most men as well. Because why aren't you struggling, trying to meet these standards that pleases me? Because you are not a being. You are an object, a resource that exists for my pleasure, convenience, comfort, and ease in life. Obviously, this is the source of sexual predation as well, where they view women as an object of their pleasure. She's a subhuman. She's a human being, but she's not an equal human being. She's a lesser human being. It's a subcategory. I feel quite confident to say that as a woman of color, I can speak for most people of color, that we experience this from white people. A lot of them. Why aren't you being the good model minority? Why aren't you making my life more comfortable? Why aren't you making my life easier? Why aren't you being my resource? This is what supremacism looks like. I hope that cleared it up.
Let's continue talking about male entitlement, shall we? Here's a real life case study.
Bougie girls, ain't it? I can tell. You think you too good to talk to me or something? You got some real pretty skin. I mean, I can get your hair did. I see you had that little hat on. Your man ain't getting your hair did. That's what it is, because messing with a dude like me.
You just want to bother somebody today.
Let's break this down. Here this lady's minding her own business. Here he comes talking to her about her personal appearance, which she clearly is not inviting him to engage with her. All of her body language is saying no. She's shaking her head, and he's still talking. Despite him being incredibly rude and incredibly insensitive, she kindly says, "You just want to bother somebody today." Let's keep watching.
I mean, you missing your blessing. I'm trying to help you out. I mean, I get your hair did, your nails did, get you some lashes.
I already told you no thank you.
Bad after.
No thank you. No thank you.
I mean, listen.
How many times does she say no thank you? So far, I've counted at least 4 or 5 minimum. And that's not even including her body language. He's offering her something she doesn't want. He's interrupting her work. And he insists that he knows what's better for her than she does.
Listen, I'm a man that I know what I want. You play hard to get all you want, but I know you want me. I want you too. Come on, child. Stop playing hard to get this. Take my number down.
In his entitlement and presumptiveness, he could never consider the fact that this lady is just not interested in him. She has to be playing hard to get because he's a man and he is irresistible.
I promise you, just let me take you. I'll get your hair did tomorrow.
No, I'm fine.
Just let me get your hair did.
No, I said no.
What's the big issue? You think you better than me or something? You think you too good?
No matter how many times she says no, and for the tone police, no matter how kindly she says no, he persists and insists that he deserves access to her. And then when she firmly says no, he starts attacking her. You think you're better than me, projecting onto her his own insecurities.
You talking to me?
You can have a seat and wait. That's what you can do.
Listen, you know what? Never mind. He didn't all that. No way.
If you think this is a rare occurrence, ask any woman how many times she's experienced this. No does not mean no to an entitled man. No to an entitled man means try harder. This lady couldn't have been any nicer, any clearer, any more direct. But it's still her fault, right?
One of my clients said something the other day that's very much part of this prevalent pattern that leads so many women in hetero marriages to initiate divorce. He and I were discussing 3 of the common ways that men dismiss their partners when they come to them to initiate a conversation around the desire for greater closeness. One of these ways is to completely shut down in the conversation. So there she is discussing her emotional suffering because of the distance between them, and he says nothing. Now, I could go into a little bit more about what's going on for him in that moment, but I'm not going to do that in this video. The second way is to get defensive, puff up, flip the script, turn around and start blaming and criticizing her. And the third way is to be quite caring in the moment, maybe apologize, maybe promise to do better, say he understands, and yet the moment the conversation is over, it's out of his mind. So there is little to no follow-up behavior. And my client said, oh, I've done all 3 of those many times. So then I asked him to tell me a little bit about what was sometimes going on in his mind when his partner was initiating these conversations. And he said, well, I was often thinking, how are you gonna tell me that I'm inadequate in some way? Are you kidding me? I'm a great fucking guy. Now, I've been coaching him for a little while now, so I think I can vouch for the fact that he is a great fucking guy. And yet, that doesn't mean that he was always a great partner, and he recognizes that now and is very motivated to learn more relational skills. He's also calling out how his male entitlement, the result of growing up a guy in a patriarchal society, negatively affects relationships. Add to that, if you're a guy who shares household and childcare responsibilities with your partner and are a kind man, a nice guy like he is, you've been told your whole life that you're a great guy, right? That you're not like those assholes who are disrespectful to women who are totally self-centered. So you already know you're bringing more to the table. And for many nice guys, I'm not saying all, but for many nice guys, they actually don't think they have more growing to do. And so when their partner is bringing up, conversations about the relationship and asking for further investment, sometimes they become indignant. Think, who are you to ask me for more? Are you kidding me? Like he said, I'm a great guy. My client also told me that he really wishes that he'd had this awareness about 10 years ago because it would have saved him a lot of conflict in relationships. The good news is I am hearing from more and more men that they now recognize some of their blind spots and are very invested in learning how to nourish the relationship with their partner.
I hate rejection, and I don't deserve to get rejected.
This man is literally seconds away from either assaulting a woman, ama taking a woman's life, ama becoming a woman's nightmare. Because what do you mean you're going to walk around in a such kind of like you think you deserve love from women? What in the hell? And the weirdest thing is this is just a normal man like any other. And you'll be utashanga sana that wanaume wengi even ndo wanafikiria they feel that they're entitled to a woman's attention, a woman's affection, a woman's body. So hey manze, be careful. And it's usually the crusty of the crustiest wanting the baddest bitches out there. So yamani, ladies, kweni, just be careful out there. Sababu wanaume na rejection, 100 men versus rejection.
Men often try to hijack our spaces and enter our spaces when I am speaking directly to the women because they feel entitled. They have this sense of false equivalency where they want to compare women to men as if we're the same. Okay, and our rights have been the same. They want to devalue and derail anyone around who is listening or seeing. They want to try to make it seem like we are comparable. They want to enter spaces that are for us, by us, because they want to control the narrative. Men often feel entitled to hijack women-centered spaces because they feel entitled to enter these spaces demanding the same amount of airtime that we use to discuss our situations. Men love to erase the nuance of our lived experiences and try to erase them by interjecting with their small, entitled opinions. And we see it, we notice it, and we just bypass it. They are welcome to come and sit in and listen, but when we're having conversations for us, by us, their opinions do not matter. So you cannot enter our conversations and say, well, men do it too and women do it too, when we are speaking amongst each other, to each other, and sharing real life experiences. You don't matter. And when a man realizes that they don't matter and we're discussing actual problems and sharing our opinions amongst each other, they often try to throw women off. And they think they're doing it, but we notice it. This is what we're discussing at hand. And then you come into our groups and then you try to double down on it. We know what you're doing. Just sit quietly and listen, or you can keep scrolling. But our conversations for us, by us, amongst us, doesn't need your interjection.
So when you try to hold a man, for instance, accountable, who's not used to being held accountable, he doesn't know what that feels like. He hasn't been trained or given a lot of opportunities to work through those hard and shameful and guilt-ridden feelings. So to him, it feels like a threat. Those are big emotions he hasn't figured out how to do anything with yet. So the disgust response flares to protect him from ego destruction. So now you're trying to use logic and appeal to emotion to explain why he needs to take accountability for his poor actions, but his disgust response has flared and he no longer has access to logic or reason. And this will happen over and over and over and over and over again. So if a man really wants to improve and make the world a better place and have healthy relationships, he has to consciously work with his feelings of guilt and shame and understand that he's capable of making amends and that he is capable of being forgiven and asking for forgiveness. He just has to deal with that level of humility, guilt, shame that he hasn't had to deal with before, and it may very well shake the ground he walks on. So it's kind of a big deal for these guys, these little fellas. But of course he has to be wanting to change and ready to change and, fundamentally understanding the foundations he's standing on that have perpetuated his poor behavior or actions in the first place. And those are big things, more life-changing stuff. So one, he needs to work on humility, guilt, shame, and then two, he has to be willing to fundamentally change. And the catch with that is, he doesn't know what fundamentally changing actually means. So he might think in his head that he's willing to fundamentally change. He might even learn how to mimic humility and apologize. But that doesn't mean he's actually making the changes. Usually that means he ends up relying on the woman to just guide him forth. Do all the emotional labor. Tell him when he's gone wrong. Put him in his place. And then, he just builds this secret little other life where he's still being his same self, and that never works out. And then women become the mothers and, the sex dies, etc., etc. No one wants that dynamic. Dudes, come on.
Let's say I think that Lauren is a 6. You're not all that. I deserve better. I still want to smash. Once I'm done, I don't want to talk to you no more. And now, how far do you think that narrative gets me with Lauren? Where it's like, I don't like you. I want to hit it. I don't want a relationship. That's the reality. Women go, but tell me that. Where would that get us?
I know y'all didn't ask me personally, but I'm going to tag myself in. I have a male friend that I've had this conversation with several times. And listening to this man speak slightly infuriates me because by far men cannot see what is standing right in front of their face. The entitlement that is woven in and throughout that entire conversation is mind-boggling. So I want to answer the question, sir. What will that get you? The answer is nothing. And hold on, wait, sit with that. I'm not saying change who you are. You want to be a fuckboy? Be him. But why do y'all all assume that because you want something, you should have it? Quickly, you literally spent the entire podcast explaining to us, mansplaining to us, that if I was just the guy that I actually am in the world, it wouldn't get me anything. Well, ding, ding, ding. That's called consent, sir. If you can't get something by being who you are authentically, if you can't get what you want from a person by being yourself authentically, if you don't get to hit it and then dip because that's not what she wants, then guess what? You are not entitled to it. You are not entitled to her body, to the 3 minutes it's going to take. Y'all are truly delusional. And I know you understand this because when you apply this premise to anything else in life, it's clear as day. If you go into the bank and you ask to withdraw $1,000, but you don't have a bank account there, are you still entitled to it because you want the money? But you know that, and you know it's not going to get you far. So you get a bank account and you put $50 in it. And you go back to the bank and you say, hey, I want to take $1,000 out. And you know what they're going to say? Well, thank you for being a customer, but you only got $50 in the bank. So you can't take out $1,000. Do they owe you the $1,000 just because you put $50 in it? If you go to the bank and you open an account and you deposit $1,000 personal check from your friend and you say, I'd like this in cash, please. And they look at you and say, sir, well, we apologize, but there is a 48-hour hold on all checks over $500. So we can give you $500, but you're going to have to wait for the rest to clear. Do they owe you the $1,000? They do in 48 hours. Do you see the mental gymnastics y'all be doing to gain access to something instead of just doing it the right way? Instead of just waiting the 48 hours, instead of telling her who you actually are. Because what is paramount to you is you getting your needs met, actually getting your wants met. And to hell with how she feel about it. Jeez, y'all tell me what you think.
Hey, I'm not even going to call you dear anymore. Who is Alejandro? Huh? Who is Alejandro? I'm talking to you. How many men are you playing with me? John, Alejandro, how many men are you hiding behind my back? A whole married man chasing a woman who is playing him. What the hell is what is wrong with you? I told you I'm following every single messages and phone calls between you and your so-called boys. So what is attention? You keep on crying attention. What is attention? I'm giving you 24 hours. Write to me what attention means to you. Okay?
So I've been doing this work, working with men and boys in the community to end violence against women for about 6 years now. And I didn't realize how bad something I heard my first year was until yesterday, right? So during my first year, we were working with a group of boys in high school. They were between the ages of 14 to 18 or 19. And one of the boys, he was 16 or 17 at the time. He said during a conversation about consent that he doesn't like to ask for consent because she might say no, right? And of course, we had the conversation about how it's important to have enthusiastic and, verbal consent. But I didn't realize him saying that was him admitting that this was a plan so that women can't or girls can't say no to him. So this proves that he is well aware of the possibility of rejection, and instead of being open to that and being okay with that, he is not giving the girls he's with at the time the chance to practice autonomy by not even asking them if they're comfortable with what's going on. I was able to make this connection recently because of the recent incident that happened in London where a teenage boy stabbed a teenage girl. Because women have been pointing out that he came to her with the flowers and the machete, right? So this was a plan from the jump to use the flowers to influence her decision. And if she were to say no, he had the machete there to punish her for saying no. I know some people are going to say like there's no correlation there. Those are two completely different incidences, but there's a huge correlation there, right? If I don't give people a chance to say no to me and I'm punishing people for saying no to me, I am entering spaces with people with the belief and the attitude that those people don't have a right to say no to me. And the correlation is men and boys' entitlement to women and girls. It's saying there is no space for you to say no, and if you do say no, there will be consequences for you saying no to me. In both cases, there is an attitude and belief that rejection should not be possible, and a plan for how to avoid rejection and how to punish people for rejecting me. And this can easily be applied to drug-facilitated date rape, right? Where perpetrators are leaving their houses with the substances to drug or incapacitate somebody with the belief and attitude that I might be rejected. So here's my plan to avoid that rejection, and here's my plan to retaliate against that rejection. But of course, commonly victim blamers or other misogynists try to find a way to blame the woman for the men committing acts of violence against them. But we have to keep in mind that these men were socialized by a system or by people in their lives that rejection is not something that they should accept or be okay with. And here's certain tips and certain ways to get around that rejection. So if we really want a culture where we reduce men's violence against women and boys' violence against girls, we have to create a culture where we address the attitudes and beliefs of men that lead to violence against women. And that can start with teaching our boys that rejection is normal and it's okay to be rejected.
I want to hit it. I don't want a relationship. That's the reality. Women go, but tell me that. Where would that get us? Nowhere.
Exactly where it's supposed to get you. Because a girl who doesn't want that arrangement is allowed and has the freedom to say no thank you.
There's 2 clips right now circulating on the internet. The one where the guy is walking down the street where he's like, this girl just was looking at her phone and wasn't acknowledging me. And the other is this clip. What do these 2 clips have in common? Entitlement. These clips are both showing that they feel entitled to how women behave and what they are owed. Also showing that they kind of view women as objects, but that's another conversation. Whether knowingly or most likely unknowingly, they are telling on themselves. They are saying that they expect women to perform a certain way. He's basically saying he coerces women so that he will have a relationship with them. That is coercion. But in both of these instances, they feel entitled to women. Women don't owe you anything. Like, we don't owe you a smile, acknowledgement. Actually, just most people in general. Let's just not even say women. Most people don't owe you a relationship, for one, and they absolutely don't know a stranger on the street that they don't know acknowledgement. So it's very weird. I would feel weird personally, a weird mentality. I would walk down the street, and if someone doesn't acknowledge me or say hi, I'm like, okay, it's fine. Like, truly, that's okay. Can you imagine? Can you imagine your biggest issue when walking down the street? As a shirtless guy, mind you, is people not being nice to you, versus as a woman, our biggest threat is probably other men. I would love to walk down the street and my only fear is someone, or complaint, is someone just not being friendly. There is a difference between being like having manners and expecting a level of reciprocity from people that you do not know. Feeling owed and entitled to women, relationships, what we do, how we act, and whether we give you attention or not. And as of filming this, I guess we're talking about this now on the F the Nice Guy podcast, because Reagan just messaged me and now we're doing this. So
during the pandemic, men devolved so much because they were no longer able to force their company on women.
This creator's amazing. Go look at her content and follow her. But in her video, she talks about how men devolved so much during the pandemic because they lost their daily access to women. And that the reason why so many women lived their best lives during the pandemic was because they weren't having to take on the emotional labor of their male coworkers. And they also weren't having to interact with men on their daily commutes. And that's one of the reasons why the disgusting online trolling has gotten so bad, because men have lost their access to women. And you'll notice that most of the disgusting, triggering comments on the internet come from men. And it's because they want interaction with women. These trolls are emotional vampires. And while I typically try to not engage with them, sometimes I can't help myself, but moving forward, I'm not going to be doing that anymore. And neither should you. If a man comes on your page and posts something very triggering, just block and ignore them, because that's what they deserve. And being ignored is what the bully fears the most.
Okay, so I'm really exposing myself here, but I suffer with a condition known as road rage, and it's actually the severe type, and it gets even worse when there's men involved. First of all, I just hate people who lack road etiquette or driving etiquette, manners. It's free, learn some, make eye contact with somebody. If they give you way, then take the way and say thank you. Hazards, hand, whatever it is that you want to do, just say thank you. I hate it when I give someone way and they don't say thank you, but that's not as bad as men who try to forcibly take way when clearly it's not your right of way. I've not stopped to give you way. They look at me and think, oh, she's a girl, she'll get scared. I'll just go a bit closer and she'll back off. You got the wrong girl, honey. I will put you in your place and I will make sure that you do not take way. Do you know why? Because as soon as I catch a whiff of entitlement on the road by a man, I always wonder and think to myself, I wonder how deep this sense of entitlement goes, especially with women. I wonder what else he forcibly takes in life. I wonder how he treats the women in his life. So I take it upon myself as a woman to show him that you cannot walk all over me because you see me as weaker as you when it comes to driving, or you see me as just a girl. Also, this is very specific to Manchester, but nothing raises my blood pressure more than driving through Longsight. It is hell on earth. There is just no sense of anything on that road. Everyone stops wherever they like. People cross wherever they like. They don't even look. They do not even look at the road. They literally just step out and you have to emergency brake. Guy in front of you is driving past the butcher shop and he realizes he needs some meat. What does he do? Brakes, put the hazards on, gets out, goes into the shop. What do you have to do? Go around him because suddenly he's decided he wants to park in the middle of a main road.
At this point, it's kind of comical, like how angry these like incel or just like red pill adjacent, maybe dusty type, like underemployed guys are. Anytime you leave a comment on some guy's page about dating and you're just like listing a bare minimum standard, hey, I don't meet people for drinks, I meet you for dinner only, right? Or like a meal only, or an activity that's thoughtful and planned out only. And they get so freaking triggered because it's like, I mean, it's the state of the economy mixed with just how entitled they are to women. But the number of like just random incel guys looking at my profile in the last like hour or two because I made a comment on some guy's video just stating my standards about how I don't do drinks because, you know, drinks usually, in my opinion, is a guy trying to get you drunk, getting easier access. You know, it's just me, just below my bare minimum standards. This is not like a difficult concept to grasp. Like, you're supposed to court a woman, and just because women are making money now, we're also spending more money now on all of these ridiculous beauty standards. All of this makeup, I don't know, all these girls getting filler. I don't even get filler, but I'm still like stressed out by how much I mean, you know, I want to cut out my nails and I don't want to, but I want to for saving money purposes. It's because these guys are so freaking entitled to just like having access to women and thinking that like they don't have to spend. For example, they don't have to spend money on watching the hub, right? They can go on IG and it's all softcore now. And of course there's OF girls. OF girls sometimes, like, you know, it's super cheap to like subscribe to OF, or it's even free. And there's just like so many like hot girls and baddies out here, and these guys like think it doesn't cost money to maintain looking good, and of course it freaking does. These immature, insecure guys just don't understand the game because they are freaking broke and they're in survival mode.
So now, to be very honest, the rate at which men feel very entitled after taking a woman out on a first date is very bad. Because he carry me go restaurant on a first date, he claim you like me and you want to have something serious with me. You like the woman and you want to have something serious with the woman. You can't carry and go restaurant on a first date. Now you want to take her to your house and go and do what? What is she going to go and do in your house? Why are you rushing things in life? Why can't you go and drop her back in her house? Or book Uber for her? What's your problem in life? Why are you rushing things? Why do you want to shop her work on the first date? Any man that carry you out on a first date, claim to like you and want to have something serious with you, he can't carry you go first date. Now want to sleep with you on that first date. Is a very big red flag. He doesn't have any future plans for you, I'm telling you. Trashing very fast. The right one will be rushing it.
I want to know why girls think they're so nice when somebody else's man approaches them. Especially if you've ever been approached by a man who's seeing one of your friends or seeing somebody that you know. You're feeling flattered. You're feeling like you're nice. How? I'm telling you right now, I could never feel nice when the next girl's man approaches me. I could never feel flattered. Because it's a disrespect to not only her, but also me. What this man is saying is that despite you knowing that I'm in another relationship with someone else, even your friend, I still think I could have you. I still think you will let loose because you have no value. You look like a girl that has no value. You have no self-esteem. You have no respect for yourself or your friend. So I feel confident in approaching you and saying, can we do something on the side? Because you look like the type of girl that holds no value. It's a disrespect.
The entitlement and ownership that people feel that they have over you really needs to be studied. Whether that's friends, family, relationships, it really doesn't matter. People really feel entitled over you, especially when you start pulling back your energy, pulling back your time, and just doing things that are for you. People feel some type of way about that. Now they think you acting funny. Now they think you betraying them or whatever. It's like the world ended when you stop doing every little thing that you used to do for them. Like, I can't just pull my energy back. I can't just pull my time away from you. No, because it doesn't benefit them. It's weird and it needs to be studied.
No man wants to marry an attack dog. You know how...
See, women, I'm going to hold your hands when I say this. I'm going to hold your hands with so much love when I say this. It's not about getting married. The goal is not about, oh, I'm getting too old, I need to get married. That's not the goal. The goal is to marry a kind man, to marry a good man, and not to marry nonsense. If you watch that video that I stitch, if you watch that video to the end, you will see that what these men that are talking are looking for is the women that they are going to subjugate, women that they are going to oppress, and women that they are going to turn into slaves. And the fact that he's trying so hard to convince you that you are getting old, and that you should lower your standard and diminish yourself so that you'll be marriable, says a lot about his character. It says a lot about the kind of husband that he is going to be. And as a woman, that is not the kind of man that you want to end up with. I don't care if you are 40 or 50 or you are getting to menopause. That is not the kind of man you want to end up with. I always say this, women that have standard, women that know what they want, women that are independent and have an opinion, strong opinionated women, women that are feminists, they marry the best of the men. They marry the best men because they don't settle for nonsense. They don't settle for nonsense and they know nonsense and they spot nonsense and they never ever lower their standard for nonsense. And because those people are high value women, they only attract high value men. They only settle for high value men. Because it is only a man that is self-aware, that is self-confident, that is not scared that a woman is going to talk over me, a woman is going to disrespect me, that will come for you because he's not intimidated by a strong woman. So keep your standard high if you want a high value man that will respect you, mutual respect, that will treat you as an independent human being that has emotions, that have opinion, that have a say, that will treat you as a partner and not a slave. You have to keep your standard high. And this is me advising you as a woman. If na man advice you won't go listen to men, and they will teach you how to lower your standard so that you can find a man sharp, so that you can find a man like them, that high value women have rejected, the rejected men, so that Naden go marry you.
If you let men talk long enough, they will tell you exactly who they are. And who men are becoming now is scary. So I went to go get my car changed, the oil change today. So I am the only woman in the mechanic shop, and I don't have any hair or makeup. I'm regular because I'm getting my car done. So this man starts talking to me and he's like, I got to tell you, I really love that you seem to, you're a natural woman, no hair, no makeup. I think you're beautiful the way you are. And I said, well, don't get too happy with this. I said, I'm not that natural woman. I said, I do wear hair and makeup. I just didn't put it on because I'm coming to get my car done. So then he says to me, I don't understand why women wear that stuff. I said, maybe because women enjoy wearing that stuff and women are wearing that stuff for them and not for anybody else. And he said, yeah, but if women know that most men don't like that, why are they still wearing that stuff if you know most men don't like that? I said, because maybe we're not living for men. I said, maybe women are okay being by themselves and not having men who don't want them to have hair or makeup. Like, I'm going to tell you as a woman, I'm completely fine with being by myself if all the men did not like that I have hair and makeup. So he said, well, why would you want to be by yourself? I said, because why wouldn't I not want to be by myself? I said, being single is not a punishment for me, it's actually freedom. So then he started saying, I don't understand this new wave. Like, I don't understand why, women don't seem to want men. I said, no, that's not true. I said, there's a lot of women that want men. The problem is men want women who don't want them. And rather than pursue the women who want men,
Y'all are stuck on the women who aren't interested in men currently in their lives for whatever reason. Maybe they're taking a break from dating. Maybe they've been married. Maybe they've been divorced and decided singleness is for them. I said, y'all are pursuing women who don't want y'all, but you won't pursue the women who do. And this man looks at me and he says, well, we can pursue whoever we want. Women should be more concerned about being accessible and attractive to us. So I said, and what if women just want to be by themselves? He said, then you'll have a society where women are just being taken and raped because men are not going to be alone, especially with women in the world. Men have different needs than women. Did you catch that? That if women make the decision to be alone, that men will take them. And this is what's so scary, because as more women move into singleness and celibacy, the angrier the men are becoming and the more violent they are becoming on the other side of our celibacy. So women aren't even safe in singleness. And women aren't safe because as long as men see women as their right, they will take us. Scary.
You can't be mad that the chick that you want because of what she looks like doesn't want you. You only want her for what she looks like anyways. She doesn't have the other qualities that you're looking for. Leave her alone.
I don't know that. I want, you know, I like what I see. I want to hear and get to know her better.
But sweetheart, they're talking to the women that are saying they're not going to cook. Leave them alone.
No, well, they find out she's not going to cook after they speak to them.
Okay, and then you're like, okay, then leave her alone. That's what I'm saying. There's somebody for everybody. The chick that doesn't want to cook, leave her alone.
Like, how many men other than chefs don't want a woman who's nurturing and wants to cook for them and cater to them? How many men don't want this?
I don't know the answer to that. I would imagine that most men do want that.
Right. Well, there are things that women want. Mm-hmm. We know what they are.
And they might not get it. They might get it, they might not. Men can say what they want, they might get it, they might not. It's the same thing.
Why can't men just leave women alone? What? Serious? Why can't men just leave women alone? The way she had to say, just leave them alone 11 times, and this man was so resistant just to the idea of leaving a woman alone who's not interested in him. Every time I've ever done a post about the 4B movement in South Korea where women are saying they don't want to deal with men anymore, without fail, I have a bunch of dudes in the comments complaining and trying to prove to us why we need them, how bad it's going to be for us if we stop dealing with them. And my question is, why? I mean, I know I'm going to actually regret this, but I actually want to know. I would love some men to come in and tell us women, why can't y'all take no for an answer? Why do you need to force yourself on people who are not interested in engaging with you? Why was that guy in the Stitch video so resistant to the idea of just moving on to another woman who actually might be interested in him and might be what he's looking for? What is it? Because whenever somebody tells me they don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with them.
Ladies, you know what? The entitlement of men is something that we've all known subconsciously. But have you ever taken time to think about consciously? That's what I've done in this video, because their entitlement is astounding. It's shocking. And this entitlement will always spill, even at the workplace. Watch how men behave whenever you say no to do something. Even a simple task at the office. You're not the wife, but watch how they behave whenever you tell them no. That's how entitled all these men are. Yes, including those grown sons of yours. Yes, you raised entitled men. Some of you, not all of you, some of you here. And yet you are complaining about men being entitled. If you're a mother raising young sons, please teach them how to accept no. Teach them how to accept rejection, because the world needs more of such men. What do you mean you can touch me without my consent? What do you mean you don't even give me a space to consent because you're afraid I'll reject you? So you end up going as far as dragging my drink or graping me. Like, what is even that? What is even that? It's like going to a bank, depositing $50, like a lady said, and telling the bank you want to withdraw $1,000. Like, it's impossible. And the entitlement is crazy. Like, let me tell you, especially some of these men are entitled to what you have. They're entitled to your labor, to your energy, to your aura, to you worshiping them, to your money, your hard-earned money. Can you imagine? Most of these men, whenever you tell them no, even to your money, they get so angry. They even want to kill you. Let me tell you, in my country the other day, there was news. This man was married to a okay, of course a man is married to a woman, but he was married to this young woman and they had like a 1-year-old daughter. And this man used to be a former police. And over here in our country, like police are like, you see like those people who go to high school and like they fail exams, like they reject, like they scored a D in their high school exam. Like those are the people who are now given guns and a uniform to be police here in Kenya. Like the police people, and then they are paid less. Like so for them it's like an upgrade. Let me tell you, that man lost his job and I think he went crazy. So he used to take out his anger on his wife. So this night he came back. His wife used to be like a businesswoman and he demanded for her like bank account pin. And the woman said, I won't give you the pin. I won't give you. And the man went ahead to stab her in front of that 1-year-old daughter. Can you imagine the level of entitlement that man had? That story shocked me. Most of us have dealt with such men. It's not only that woman. Most of us escaped even death. We don't know. But God has kept us safe. Or most of us were smart enough to deal with them. You never know what it is. But the entitlement is shocking that they won't even give you consent. They'll go ahead and take it by force because you'll say no. What is even that? What is even that? And some of these things as a parent, when your child is young, you notice them and you don't do anything about it. Me, my motto is, don't wait for a child to do something twice. The first time they do something that is wrong, correct them verbally. Correct them, tell them that is not nice. Don't do that again because of this and this. You tell them the consequences, But some of these parents have raised very entitled men that you even wonder, where is this entitlement coming from? But all in all, I cannot even blame the parents so much because most of these men get out in the world and they develop this level of entitlement from other friends who are telling them things like, your wife does not clean your butt. My wife cleans my butt. And men like to cater to other males. Like they like the praise of other males. Like it doesn't matter what you're telling them. It doesn't matter what you're doing for them. Like at the end of the day, it's to just satisfy their male friends' perspective. Like if their male friends think good about them, they think like they're that guy and they won. It doesn't matter what they are doing to you. It doesn't matter. And most of those friends are normally their enemies and they don't know about it. Most of those friends that they listen to so much are the ones who will continue telling them, oh, get a divorce, blah, 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 leave her with the kids. And then they come and be your husband. Hey, please. Hey, we are a man listening to this. Be very careful of those friends who advise you every now and then to do your wife wrong. And there's a man who came on TikTok and say that he doesn't do business with men who cheat on their wives. And I agree with that. Because if you can cheat on someone that you consider your best friend, someone who you have kids with, someone who you sleep with every night, if you can lie to that person, what makes you not lie to me? Especially these kind of men who brag about it, And they never want to actually deal with men who like them. They always want a challenge. They always want to deal with women who don't like them. Like it's a challenge for them, which is so sad. They never want to consider that singleness is actually freedom. They'll gaslight you into thinking like you need them in your life. And yet, you don't need them. If you need someone, then get a child. Because there's no difference between that man and a child. No difference. Just the size of the body. No difference. So ladies, entitlement is shocking. And I'm sure you've grown up with fathers like that. And you've been with men like that. So ladies, I hope you enjoyed this commentary. I hope you enjoyed this whole video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Share this video to whoever may need it. Like this video. Subscribe to this channel. Even support this channel sometimes. Hey, you people don't even send even $1. Aye, but it's not a must. But hey. Even buy me soda today, banner. You're listening to this. Anyway, have a nice day and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.